Again, it's a rich thing.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another Codewars challenge here, or to another Let's Code video where I just do Codewars challenges and you can watch my thought process and my coding process. You can see how I struggle, you can see how I don't find the solution right away, how I have to Google, how I do trial and error and so on. Which I think is a very authentic type of video because I don't prepare anything. I just do some Codewars challenges on the fly. Sometimes I struggle, sometimes I don't find a solution, sometimes my solution is very ugly. And I think this is what a lot of people want to see, not just those prepared videos, those prepared projects where I know exactly what I'm doing, but actually something that I'm not prepared for. And I hope you enjoy it, and let's get right into it. Alright guys, so let's start with a little warm-up. Let's go for 6Q and let's find something that is quite popular. So let's go with popularity here and see what we haven't done yet. What do we have here? Decode array diff. Array diff sounds interesting. Your goal in this kata is to implement a difference function which subtracts one list from another and returns the result. It should remove all values from list A which are present in list B, keeping their order. Okay, if a value is present in B, all of its occurrences must be removed from the other. Okay, shouldn't be too difficult. I'm not sure if I'm thinking that this is too easy. But let's start and try. So what did we do here? We maximized this and we did it like that. So the basic idea here is that we have a list A, and everything that is inside of list A and inside of list B needs to be removed. So a very basic thing to do is, in a very inefficient way, would be to just say 4x in A, 4y in B, and before that we create like a result list, which is empty, and we say, okay, if x, no, this is stupid. We can do it easier. We can do 4x in A if x not in B, result append x. So this should actually be the solution, but I'm going to try to find a smoother solution. Let me just see if this would work if I test it. No, it doesn't work. Why? A was 1, 2, B was 1, expected 2, none should equal 2. Oh, yeah, sorry. We need to return the result as well. But the logic should work, right? Okay, passed all the tests. Also passed the attempt. So let's see if we can find a smoother solution than the one we have. Or at least a smoother way of writing it, maybe as a list comprehension. Can we just say result or return x for x in A if x not in B? Wouldn't that work as well? Wouldn't that work as well? I mean, it's the same thing, right? But I think it should also work. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go with that solution. Actually, we can do it even... No, we're not going to do a lambda expression. Come on. We're just going to submit that. That was quite easy. So let's see if there is a smoother solution than this one. I think the only thing that you can make shorter is to use a lambda expression. But I think that's an unnecessary flex to do when you're coding stuff like that. It doesn't really improve the efficiency, really. So I think that's a quite good solution. Yeah, that's actually exactly the solution I had. Here we have set B. Oh, that is even more efficient because you don't have to go through all the elements of B, but I'm not sure if the set function doesn't also take some time. So yeah, actually this seems to be quite a good solution. So this was easy for a warm-up. Let's do another 6Q and then let's go to the 5Q, which are usually a little bit more difficult. So let's go with 6Q and sort by popularity. And let's see if we have something like create phone number. This looks interesting or sounds interesting. What do we have here? Write a function that accepts an array of 10 integers between 0 and 9 that returns a string of those numbers in the form of a phone number. So for example, that would be Okay, so this is just a basic formatting thing, right? So the returned format must be correct in order to complete this challenge. Don't forget the space after the closing parentheses. Okay, this should not be too difficult. Again, let me just, as a comment, what do we need to do? As a comment, we need to do 1, 2, 3, then a space, 4, 5, 6, dash, 7, 8, 9, 0. Okay, that is the format. And we have a list of numbers. Okay, so first of all, what we want to do is we want to... Now, do we have to check for whether the numbers are all of the size 1? So, for example, if I get a list like that, do I have to check for that, or can I expect to get some valid lists that are just like 1, 7, 9, 0, 1, and so on? I'm just going to assume that I get a proper list, and then I don't have to check for that. If that is the case, all I need to do actually is I need to say numbers equals str num for num in n, and then I would have to say, I mean, this is not a beautiful way to do it, to be honest, but what I can do definitely, I think this should work, even though it's not going to be a beautiful way to do it. We're going to just do an f string where we say numbers, or actually, can I just do join? Oh, not like that. Join that. And then numbers up until 3, or up until 3, I think, or 2. I'm not sure. Let me just see in the idle real quick. I always forget the most basic stuff in Python, to be honest. So if I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, let's say this is S. Is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I say S up until 3, I get the first 3. Okay, that's what I want. Okay, and then the next 3, so basically numbers... Oh, I forgot one thing. We need those curly brackets here. Then numbers from 3 up until 6, right? This should work. And then dash and numbers from 6 up until the end. Now, I'm not sure if I'm thinking that this is more, or that this is simpler than it actually is, but I think this should work. Okay, it works. Wow. Okay, seems to be a correct solution. So let's see if I can simplify that. So what I'm doing here as an explanation is I'm just creating a list here with the string version of each number. So I'm basically just converting all the individual digits to a string so that I can work with them. I join them together to one full string. And then what I'm doing is I'm just returning a formatted string, so an f string, with the first 3 numbers inside of parentheses, then the next 3 numbers after a space, of course, then a dash, and then the last 4 digits. So yeah, I don't know. I think that's a good solution. I don't think it's too ugly, so I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm going to delete the comment, of course. But I think that is not too ugly, but I am excited to see the other solutions. So let's submit that and see if someone pulled off a one-liner that is interesting. Why I'm always asking why this is loading so long, because it doesn't have to do anything. It just has to submit and already knows that it works. So why does it have to load so long here? Oh, what is that? Okay, that is awesome. That is awesome, because I think this is the unzipping operator. What is it? So if I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or something, and then the star, or actually it was star and then the list, sorry. So star and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, for example. Okay, it doesn't work here. Why doesn't it work here? So let's say I have n equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now I say star n. Okay, I think I need to use it in a context. So I'm too uneducated when it comes to this operator, but this looks very interesting because basically what he does is he basically just has a string with placeholders, with 9 placeholders. In my case, I need 8, so I have 5, 6, 7, 8 dot format, and he's formatting star n. Okay, so it has to have a context, but basically, I think this is the unzipping operator. I'm not sure, but I think unzip operator Python. Isn't it that? Yeah. The star operator is an unpacking operator that will unpack the values from any iterable object. So basically, it's unpacking those values. But shouldn't that also work with my solution, though? I'm not sure. But let's see what the other people are doing here. What do we have here? Joining and mapping. Okay, this is actually what I did, just in a different way. And then, yeah, basically my solution in a slightly different way. And what do we have here? Okay, so most people did it with join and the string function and then just the indices, but this guy's next level. Wow. Or those guys, because there are a bunch of solutions like that. Very interesting to see this operator here in this context. Okay, guys, so let's go on with a 5Q, and maybe we should sort by most completed before we do a more difficult 5Q one. What do we have here? Maximum subarray sum or calculating with functions. Hashtag generator. Let's see what the hashtag generator is. The marketing team is spending way too much time typing in hashtags. Let's help them with our own hashtag generator. Here's the deal. It must start with a hashtag. All words must have their first letter capitalized. If the final result is longer than 150 characters, it must return false. If the input or the result is an empty string, it must return false. Okay, so what does that mean? Hello there, thanks for trying my kata would result in that. All words must have... Okay, so we basically get a text as an input, and we should convert that text into a hashtag where each word has a capital first letter. And yeah, basically we eliminate all the spaces. It starts with a hashtag. If it's too long, it returns false. And if it's empty, it returns false as well. Okay, I think that should not be too difficult. But I always say that when it comes to 5Q, and then they're difficult. So first of all, there's something in Python called title case. So Python title case. This is interesting because I think that's exactly what we need. If you take something like, hello, my friend, I am here, or something, and you call title on it, this returns exactly that. The first letter is always capitalized. And if I take something like that, and I then just say replace a space with nothing, then I get that. And then I just need to add a hashtag. So I think that's actually what we need to do. So we're going to say s.title dot replace, title dot replace spaces by nothing. We're going to say result equals hashtag plus that. If the result is only a hashtag, then we return false. And if the length of the result is, was it above 140 or was it exactly 140? Longer than 140. So if it's larger than 140, we return false. And otherwise, we just return the result. Shouldn't that work? It works. Wow. Didn't think that it would work that easily, to be honest. It works for all the cases. So let's see if we can simplify that. Now, I think that one is already quite smooth. Can we... No, actually, I think that's... We can maybe just reformat it in a different way so that it takes less lines of code. But I think those are all the things we need to do. We need to somehow get the first letters to be capitalized. And I think the title function is the perfect function. We need to somehow get rid of the spaces. So those two functions or some equivalent function is, I think, mandatory. We need to add a hashtag. We need to check for empty strings, which we do here. And we need to check for the length being above 140. So I think that's actually a good solution. We're going to submit that and see if someone has a better solution. But I think that the title is a good function to use here. I hope that everyone does that. And if not, I hope that I find something that is educational and I didn't know before. Okay, what do we have here? Capitalize. What's the difference between title and capitalized? Let's see. Let's say I have this one here. Dot capitalize. Doesn't really work. Oh, okay. This guy capitalizes each word. So I think this is, to be honest, a worse solution than my solution, because what he does is he goes through all the individual words, capitalizes the individual words, and adds them to the output. I think the title function is a way better function to use here. This guy did the same thing that I did, but he checked it with the length. Yeah. So basically, people are using title or capitalize. I think title is better, to be honest, in this particular case. But yeah, seems to be a good solution. So let's go for another 5Q1. And depending on how long it takes to complete it, we're going to do one more, or we're going to leave it at that. But let's sort now by popularity and not by the easiest. So let's go with popularity. And let's try to find something that's like here, for example, pick peaks. Let's just see what pick peaks is. I don't like tasks with too much text, not because they're necessarily difficult, but they're just confusing. Let's see if we find one with less text, with less explanation. Okay, they only have more. So let's go with pick peaks. Or at least let's read into it. For example, the array, or what does it say? In this kata, you will write a function that returns the positions and the values of the peaks or local maxima of a numeric array. For example, the array 0, 1, 2, 5, 1, 0 has a peak at position 3 with a value of 5 since, okay. The output will be returned as an object with two properties, position and peaks. Both of these properties should be arrays. If there is no peak in the given array, then the output should be empty lists. Okay. So basically, if I understood this right, this would be a peak because it has a 3 and a 4 besides it. But this would also be a peak because it has 2 and 2, right? So yeah, okay, 6, 3, and then we have 3, 7 for the positions. Okay, I think I got that. All input arrays will be valid integer arrays, although it could still be empty. You won't need to validate the input. Okay. The first and the last element of the array will not be considered as peaks. Okay. Obviously, so also beware of plateaus. This one has a peak, while those do not. Okay, why do they have a peak? In case of a plateau peak, please only return the position and value of the beginning of the plateau. So in this case, this would be considered a peak because that is less than 2. Then we only have more 2s and then it goes down again. So that would be a plateau peak because that is a peak. Okay, understand. Okay, understood the task. Let's see if it is hard or if it's actually quite easy. Now the plateau peaks could be a challenge. let's just ignore the plateau peaks for now. Let's think about just the basic peaks. What would we do? We would say, okay, for x in range length of the array. Not quite. We start at position 1 and we go until the, not the last position, but one before that. And we say, okay, if array x is larger than array x minus 1 and array, or actually we can do it like that. No, we cannot do it like that. And array x is also larger than array x plus 1, then we want to have the position append x and peaks append array x. So this works for the not plateau peaks. Let's see if this actually works for the non-plateau peaks. So what do we have to return? We need to return a dictionary. Okay, we want to return a dictionary here. So basically, we would want to return pause, peaks, right? Let's see if this works for some cases. Okay, it works for some cases, so it works for the non-plateaus. What do we have here? This should equal, okay, yeah, plateau peaks are not working yet because we haven't thought about them yet. So if we have a plateau, this if is not going to be true, so we're going to skip it. So let's say elif array x is larger than array x minus 1 and array x is equal to array x plus 1. This is difficult now because what we need to find now is the next thing that is not equal to array x. And if that thing that is not equal to array x, if that thing is, we're going to use a helper function. I'm not saying that this is the most efficient way, but I want to solve the problem because before I think about optimization. So we're going to say next non-equal. And we're given an array, and we're given a number, and we're given a, or actually we can just work with a position here. So basically we want to know, no, we can say while, no, while, no, I think for is better, right? If I say for x in range, we start at position, or actually at position, no, we can start at position, up until the array length, so up until length of the array, if x, or if array x is larger than, no, if array x is not equal to array position, we can return array x. Otherwise, we return false. Okay, let's see if we can work with that. So basically we're saying, okay, the next one, the next one is going to be the same. So we're saying, okay, give me the next value that is not the same. So we should get that. Okay, so what we say is if, no, let's say if Or actually, let's just return array position here. If the array, no, if next non-equal for the array and the current position, if that is larger, no, we actually want it to be less. If it's less than array X, then we can do what we did. Otherwise, we just otherwise we just do nothing. And I'm now just going to copy that function here, because we don't care about efficiency yet. Next non-equal to the left. So here we start from a position to the left. So we go from 0 up until that position. And we basically say, okay, if array X, if position minus X is not equal to that, return that, otherwise return that. Okay, this should work. And we can do another elif array X is larger than array X plus 1, but it is equal to array X minus 1. In this case, if next non-equal left array X is less than array X, we're going to do the same thing. And now I think we have forgotten about one case, but I'm going to, no, actually, no, we cannot have forgotten about one case. Actually, do we even need that branch? Let me just see if it works now. Okay, it doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? Can I get the sample tests here? What is he testing? We're getting this input here. Okay, we have a plateau, we have a peak here. We get that as a result. And we have a peak here as well, which we also get as a result. But then we have a peak here as well, which we don't get as a result. Why is that? Let's see. We go into the function for x in range 1. Okay, we're already there. We're at this position here, or at this position. And we get into the branch where the one to the left is less than 2. And the next one is equal to 2. So we want to know what's the next thing that is not equal to 2. And it should give us 1. But if it gives us 1, we should actually get to 2 as a result, which we don't. So something is wrong with that function here. We start at the position. Oh, I think I know what the problem is. We say if the next position is not equal, we should not do that. We should say if in the end we don't find anything, then return this. Let's just see if that works. Oh, it works. Wow. Attempt. Oh, doesn't work for one thing. Let me just see real quick if it works without that completely. I would just be interested to see that, because I really don't think that we need that, because we're always going from left to right. Okay, so those worked as well. Oh! This was not only working without it, this was the problem. Okay, I think we had some duplicates in there maybe, because we were going from left to right and then from right to left again. But basically, let me just explain what I did again. We're just going through the list and we're saying, okay, if I find a value where the left value and the right value is less than the value that I'm currently looking at, then this is a peak, so add it to the list. Otherwise, we're looking for plateau peaks, so if I find a value where the left one is less than the value that I have here, but the right one is the same, then go so much to the right, so much to the right until you find a number that is not the same number, and if this number is less, then append it, otherwise ignore it. So let's just see now if we can easily optimize that. I don't want to spend too much time optimizing that. But can we not just take that function and put it in here? Wouldn't that work? But to be honest, I think that's more readable. So I don't want to spend too much time boring you with optimizations. Let's just see if someone has a very smooth solution. So I'm going to attempt and I'm going to submit and I'm going to look at the solutions. This was a little bit more challenging than the other one. So obviously you can see that I wrote a lot of code here, but other people did as well. So I don't see a one-liner. That is very good. What do we have here? Position is empty, prop peak equals false. What does prop peak mean? For I in range 1 length array, if array I is larger than the previous one, then prop peak equals I. Elif. Okay, I'm not sure what this guy's doing, to be honest. What do we have down here? This guy is using izip. Izip. Wow, what is this guy doing here? Pick peaks. Deltas equals I x2 minus x1. For I x2 x1 in enumerate izip a. What the fuck is that, man? Okay, this is some sick code. No one can understand it. I mean, of course you can understand it if you know the functions, but this is not really readable, but it's 3 lines, so it works. Let's see what the izip function does. Never heard of it. Izip returns an iterator that combines the elements of several iterators into tuples. It works like the built-in function zip, except that it returns an iterator instead of a list. Okay. Wow, this is cool. Someone's flexing here. I think this is only one guy, right? Not sure. But looks pretty good. So that's it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed and hope you learned something. If so, let me know by hitting the like button and leaving a comment in the comment section down below. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell to not miss a single future video for free. Other than that, thank you very much for watching. See you in the next video and bye.